In Facebook, come on in YouTube. We are about to get started with my show, Jimmy Rants, here in about 5 minutes. We got a great show in store for you guys. Over on Instagram Live is where we do the show, but we let you guys peek in here and watch the show live from Facebook and YouTube as well. On Fridays, we have a good show because we go live and we basically open the floor to you to ask anything you want. Hello, Beth. Hello, Norma. Thank you guys for being here. Hello, Amy. Thanks for being here. Hello to all my YouTubers coming in. Come on in, make yourself at home. Friday is where the fun begins because we let you pretty much ask anything you want. This is an Ask Me Anything coming up over on Instagram Live. So Instagram only goes for an hour. And so most of the time, this Ask Me Anything goes right at 1 hour. So get your comments in and your questions in that you want to ask. And if we run out of time over there, that we can keep going on both of these formats. They are unlimited. Although I should just keep going one night just to see, one day, just to see how long it would keep going. Does anybody know when it cuts off on YouTube or cuts off on Facebook? I don't know. I guess after a while you'll stop being entertaining and you'll be like, so the next thing I'm gonna talk about. Yeah, 1 hour is about my limit before I start to kind of go, yeah, I'm getting a little tired. So what's up, Sam? See, all my regulars over on Instagram are popping in on my Facebook page. I know Beth, as soon as I start over there, is going to jump over there. Sam, are you also going to jump on Instagram Live when I go live over there here in a second? But we do have an Ask Me Anything. It's coming up, you guys. So be sure if you have questions that you want to ask, that you put them down there in the comment section down there as well. We will definitely get to those. I do go to Instagram first since the show is an Instagram focused show, Instagram Live. And then when we have time, we'll pop over. Usually I have plenty of time to get to all of the questions as they come in. So put your questions down there. And as always, share here on Facebook. You could post it on your page. You could post it on any page that you're a member of and let people know about what we're doing here. Hello, Holly. Thanks for being here today. All right, so yes, Ask Me Anything is literally that. Like whatever questions you have. Obviously, I have knowledge about keto and low carb diets, cholesterol, fasting, podcasting, book writing. Pretty much any of those are all on hand there. You can literally ask me anything about me personally if you want to. It's all on the table. So hello, Hank. Hello, Carlos. Thank you guys for being here as well. We're a T-minus right at about a minute left before we get started with my show, Jimmy Rants. And we got a lot of really kind of cool things. Friday is like this catch-all, you never know what's going to come kind of show. And I love that. I love kind of the unpredictability. Like when I go on other people's podcasts, I'm always like, yeah, don't tell me what we're going to talk about, because I like to be surprised. And I like to, in the moment, give responses, because if you can't do that, what are you doing on camera? What are you doing behind the microphone? Alrighty, so I do have a few stories here at the beginning. I'm going to hit on some kind of things of interest that don't take too long. And so we will get to those. Holly, that's a great question. I'm going to come back to that one once we start the show. And I think we're going to go ahead and start the show right now. Again, write your comments and your questions down there in the comment section. You too over here on YouTube. This is a total Ask Me Anything. You always want to ask questions. This is your time. Hello, Nancy. Thanks for being here. So here we go over on Instagram. Come on in, you guys. We got a brand new episode of Jimmy Rants in store for you here today. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content, but you got to go follow me. I'm over on Instagram. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage live, just like Rachel and Lenore and Kelly and wow, as soon as I started reading names, a bunch of people all came in at the same time. But thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. We also simulcast live over on my Facebook Live page, as well as on YouTube Live. So thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live on Instagram, it does stay up for 24 hours on replay there, but after 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to jimmyrants.com. That's where we house all the past episodes. We also throw the past episodes up in archive form over on YouTube. So type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants, into a search there, and you can find the show. In fact, if you want to know if I've done a show on any given topic, just put Jimmy Rants in quotation marks, and then in quotation marks, whatever it is you want me to talk about or you thought I've talked about, like Jimmy Rants cholesterol, and you'll see all the rants that I've done talking about cholesterol. Kind of a cool way to look up older episodes that you might have missed. All right, guys, so it is Friday, and what that means is it's Ask Me Anything. Like literally all week long, I do all these Jimmy Rants, and people throw random questions in there. This is your day that if you have a question for me, a general question about keto, fasting, cholesterol, book writing, podcasting, or even anything personal for me, this is your time. So write it down there. Share your questions, and we will get to those here in just a moment. That applies to you guys here as well as you guys there on YouTube. But as I always do at the beginning of Ask Me Anything, I have a few little short stories to read and some items of interest. So earlier this week, I told you guys about this keto doctor that said that I claimed COVID-19 wasn't real, and that he kind of called me out in an email 1 week ago. Well, he has since texted me back, and I had inquired, did you ever find any evidence that supported this? So he wrote me back, my reaction was totally inappropriate. There was an overlaid tweet on an Instagram pic, and it wasn't anything you said at all. It had to do with questioning the attribution of the cause of death to COVID-19, and I'm sorry. So, I get it. Things happen, but before you make accusations to people, especially longtime friends, maybe double check to make sure that's true before you make the accusation and then chastise that person for that accusation. So just wanted, for those of you that had not seen it, I put it out on social media today, but if you'd not seen that, let you know the conclusion of how all that went down. All right, this next one, have you heard what Costco's doing? Costco has a new coronavirus policy. Starting on Monday, you will not be allowed to go into Costco unless you wear a mask. So they're going to require mandatory masks be worn if you go into a Costco store here in America. I'm not sure if it's Costco Australia or Costco Canada. I know those are owned separately from Costco here in America. But in America, you go into a Costco starting on Monday and you don't have a mask on, they won't let you in the store unless you're a child under 2 years old or have a medical condition that makes you not be able to wear a mask. So some people like that, and some people don't like that. So it is what it is. And of course, there's some people calling for a boycott of Costco. I mean, come on. I get it. If you don't want to wear a mask, I get it. Oh, I should be able to go in the store, but that's their policy. And I guess you can choose not to shop there anymore, and you can choose to make a big deal about it if you want to. But at the end of the day, they're a business trying to keep their employees and their customers safe. So that's the decision they decided to make. All right, so this next one, have you heard about this new documentary film coming out this summer called Plandemic? So over here on my Instagram page, in my stories today, I posted a link to the Plandemic website, the Plandemic movie website, and then a couple of little clips from it. It's one of those kind of COVID-19, this is what's really happening kind of exposés. Well, apparently they say some things in the documentary that YouTube does not like, that Facebook does not like, because it's getting removed. And so it's making news that Facebook and YouTube, along with Google, all are combining together to remove this video that they say makes medically unsubstantiated claims related to the coronavirus. So it's a 26-minute video, which, by the way, if you Google Plandemic movie, you'll find the website, and they've got the whole 26 minutes on there if you want to watch the whole thing. But it went viral when they put it on YouTube earlier this week. It features Judy Mikovits, who is an activist amongst people who contend that many common vaccines can be dangerous. She says in the video that wearing masks will activate the coronavirus in people without providing any evidence for that. And she criticizes the stay away from beaches order because in the clip that I posted here on Instagram, she said that exposure to the sand and the sea air and everything actually helps to boost your immunity by boosting your microbiome. So really fascinating stuff. But I mean, here's my take on this. I did a whole Jimmy Rants on why are we silencing alternative voices? Especially this lady, like she is a virologist, like she studies viruses. She's done lots of good work. In fact, in the documentary little clip that I saw, she was one of the ones that helped to come up with a treatment for HIV. So, I mean, she's been involved in infectious diseases for a very long time. It's not like she's just some random person on the internet saying things. She has actual knowledge about this. And if she has something that runs counter to the mainstream narrative, we need to be hearing what she has to say. And then if she makes unsubstantiated claims, okay, then people can question, okay, where do you get that information from? And let her present the evidence rather than just censoring it, rather than just banning it from being able to be seen and heard. Put it out there. Let people look at it. Let people ask the questions that need to be asked, and then we draw the conclusions from there. So you can't on Twitter now with this film use the hashtag plague of corruption. They won't let you put that on there, and they won't let you use the hashtag Plandemic movie. So it's pandemic, except they put an L right after the P, Plandemic. They said that the content in a shorter clip posted on its service did not violate its policy. So I guess they need to be strategic about which cuts that they post on various social media sites. You know who's putting pressure on these companies? And I talked about this before in lots of Jimmy Rants. The companies have been under pressure from the World Health Organization and other health authorities to police all of this harmful content and misinformation about this pandemic. And that's kind of where we are. And YouTube, the CEO of YouTube actually made the comment that, oh, if it runs counter to what the World Health Organization is putting out there, then it's called misinformation, even if it's just an alternative viewpoint. So just wanted to keep you in the know that this kind of thing is happening out there. And so Plandemic movie, go Google that when you're done watching Jimmy Rants here. If you've not seen that 26-minute clip, it's pretty compelling stuff to read. So if you're just joining us, we are getting ready to start my Ask Me Anything Jimmy Rants. So if you have a question for me, fire away. We're going to start here on Instagram Live, then we'll pop over here to Facebook Live, and then to YouTube Live. So ask your questions. But I have one more thing that might be of interest to you. So there is a move right now with the meat shortages. And are you guys noticing it yet? Like when I went to Sam's a little bit earlier this week, Sam's Club, I was trying to find some steaks, some fresh steaks, and it was sold out. It was gone, like really bad gone. And so there is actually a bill in Congress right now called the Prime Act. Have you heard about the Prime Act? There's a version in both the House and the Senate. In the House, it's HR 2657. And basically, the Prime Act stands for Processing Revival and Intrastate Meat Exemption Act. So they call it the Prime Act. It amends the Federal Meat Inspection Act to expand the exemption of custom slaughtering of animals from the federal inspection requirements. Under the current law, the exemption applies if the meat is slaughtered for personal, household, guest, or employee use. But this bill would expand the exemption to include meat that is slaughtered and prepared at a custom slaughter facility in accordance with the state law, and prepared exclusively for distribution to household consumers. So let me translate that for you. They're trying to take the federal government out of the inspection process and letting each individual state be the inspector. Now, there's a meat processing company that does this service. They are already under state law and state governance and state oversight. So they're basically saying, take away some of the bureaucracy so that these meat processors can do their thing and get meat back on the shelves of their local consumer. I think that's wonderful. So why is this not already passed? So there's a move, you guys, to get your lawmakers to go ahead and take action on this Prime Act. So it's HR 2859. That's the one in the House of Representatives, and then in the Senate, it's S1620. And so what you can do is call your U.S. representative and senators, urge them to sign on to HR 2859 or S1620. Find your representatives at house.gov and senate.gov. And then just basically say who you are, that you're a constituent of the person you're calling, that you would like for them to support this Prime Act, and that you're sincerely concerned that you have a lack of access to quality meats to provide for your family. There you go. Like, that's something actionable that we, the people, can do. So again, the Prime Act. Go look it up, you guys. Really interesting stuff in these really hard times. All right, showtime for you guys. You need to pop on here. Let us see the questions that you have for me. We're going to start here on Instagram Live, then we'll go to Facebook Live, and then finally YouTube Live with your questions. So get them all ready. Here we go. As always, go to jimmyrants.com for all the past episodes. All right. Berkeley wants to know if I'm going to do a group fast again. I did so well when I did it last summer. So it's funny you mentioned that, Berkeley. I have been holding off on fasting because during this coronavirus thing, and it's been stressful, it was not the time to be fasting. I was very anti doing an extended fasting challenge because all these people, oh, let's fast during it. We got nothing better to do. Let's fast. And I'm thinking, man, like, you must not have any stress going on in your life if you're ready to just be gung-ho about fasting. But it's interesting you bring this up, Berkeley, because I was just thinking this morning, I think I'm ready to lead another fasting challenge soon. So stay tuned. I probably will be doing that soon. And I personally want to do it as well. I've got a few little tips I want to use as well. I want to put a continuous glucose monitor on before I do it. And then I have this ketone testing device, which I'll be telling you guys about here real soon. And I'll be using that device in the midst of the fast as well. So thank you for that, Berkeley. That was really good suggestion. And yes, I will. Rachel says, my Costco in St. Louis made masks mandatory 3 weeks ago. My grocery store does as well and will provide a mask if you don't have one. Okay, well, that's cool. Like, if a customer just randomly walks up to Costco on Monday and doesn't know about this new policy, like, are they really going to turn a paying customer away? I think that's a great idea to have masks available for people when they come in the door. GSK, where can I find resources to begin a low-carb keto lifestyle? Weight loss would be great, but I'm more interested as an anti-inflammatory diet. So, I mean, there's plenty of books out there. I obviously am biased because I've written many books on it. I wrote a real basic book called Keto Clarity. If you've never read that one before, it should get you started. And then there's a lot of rabbit holes you can go down once you go into that. But if lowering inflammation is your goal, let me highly suggest a book specifically on that. And it's by Dr. Will Cole. I do a podcast on Thursdays with him called Real Talk with Jimmy Moore and Dr. Will Cole. He wrote a book called The Inflammation Spectrum. He is very much a keto, low-carb diet advocate. He's a functional medicine practitioner out of Pittsburgh. But his book, The Inflammation Spectrum, talks about specifically your goal and what you're trying to accomplish here with keto low carb. So The Inflammation Spectrum, you should be able to pick it up on Amazon. YouTube, Facebook, and Google are all censoring. I wish there was another format. Well, there are other formats. The problem with these other formats is just nobody knows who they are. And I get it, there's people that are over there and they're kind of the rebels that have gotten off of all the traditional social media. I'm using 3 traditional social media right now, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If I wasn't on here, would people be able to find me on one of these other formats? This is going to be the challenge as we try to combat some of the censorship that's obviously happening. My numbers continue to kind of fall and drop, and they're not near what they were, and I don't think it's by accident. So yeah, we need to find these alternatives, but the problem is being able to get eyeballs once you move to these alternatives. Go.go.com is an alternative search engine. Yeah, there's a lot of good search engines out there that will combat it. The problem is some of these social media things, it's really, really different and hard to get people to change. Like we have an actual verb, go Google it. Like we tell people, go Google it. You don't tell them to go Bing it. You don't tell them to go duck go it. You say go Google it. And so that's kind of the challenge we have here. Jax wants to know, what's your favorite color? What do you think my favorite color is? Blue. Blue is my favorite color. Always has been. Successfully spiritual. We are seeing that here in San Diego, and stores are limiting what you can buy. Yes. Yeah, they've been kind of titrating on what you can buy. Although in San they were doing it really hot and heavy right after the lockdown happened, but now they're starting to unleash it. I was able to get several of my water bottles for my little water machine over here, whereas they were limiting you to 1 for a while. But the red meat, yeah, they're definitely limiting that. Rachel says, funny thing, all the Beyond Meat and Impossible Burgers are stocked full on the shelves while the real meat is gone. Yeah. And I did a Jimmy Rants recently, Rachel, where I talked about how all the real meat is gone, and they're going to use that as an opportunity to market those plant-based burgers. Well, if you don't have meat, we suddenly have this meat-like product available, and they're trying to basically prey on the ignorance of people that these fake meat burgers are just the same as meat, when you and I both know they're not. Kelly says, I have one and it's great. Really makes me think twice. You have one. Which one? See, this is the bad thing. Like when you make a comment and then I don't read it till later, I'm like, you have one what? One. I'm trying to think. Was it something I talked about? You have one. What one? I'm racking my brain what the one would be, Kelly. Patty says, which continuous glucose monitor can I get without a doctor's prescription? None. All of them need a doctor's prescription. And I'm not a diabetic either, but Freestyle Libre is the kind of gold standard. There are other ones out there, and I know there's a company working on not having to see your local doctor. That there's doctors in-house that can assess your situation and get you one. I'm very fortunate with what I do for a living. I've got a lot of doctors that I know, and anytime I need one, they go, oh, you need a sensor? Yeah, okay, here's the prescription, and then he lets me go get like 6 of them. So, what are your thoughts on avocados, says Sharon. They just seem to be too high in carbs, but they're quick and easy and yummy. I don't know that they're too high in carbs per se, and plus you're not eating avocados for the carbs. You're eating them primarily for the monounsaturated fats. I think they're wonderful. I tend to stay a little more carnivorous in my personal diet and don't eat as much of that. Plus, avocados would be consumed more if you didn't have a not ripe, gone. Like it becomes ripe and then it's nasty very quickly. So if you cut into an avocado and it's beautiful and soft and it's nice lime green color and it doesn't have like little black splotches in it, you better consider yourself lucky, because most people can't get an avocado to be that absolutely magically perfect. But I think in general they're pretty good. Obviously, if you're concerned about the carbohydrates, I believe in a whole avocado, there's something like 15, 16 grams of carbohydrate, but it's all fiber carbs. There's no sugar in, even though avocado is a fruit, there's no sugar in there. loaded with monounsaturated fats, I would not worry about that. And if anything, that fiber in the avocado will help feed your gut microbiome. So I don't see any downside to having avocados. All right, so we got a few questions that came in overnight because I posted this yesterday. This was a funny question. If you were the ruler of your own country, what would be your first law introduced? Now that is definitely an ask me anything type of question. Ruler of my own country, what would be the first law I would introduce? Bacon for all. Unlimited, all you want. Keep your cupboards full. Could I stay your leader for life if I did that? So, yeah, I think and this is just personal philosophy because this is Ask Me Anything. I think the less you have people intruding in your life, the better. I don't think people need to have more rules and regulations on their life. I think they should be allowed to be who they are and obviously be protected, but not to be so intruded upon that you have to rely on someone else. Let people be who they are. So that would be my main edict, is just, free people up to be exactly who they are. All right, let's see. What else do we have? I am not keto adapted, have fallen off the wagon and getting back on. I'm doing IF and finding I am rarely, and then it cut off. I guess you had more to say, and it literally says no more than that. So not keto adapted, fallen off the wagon, getting back on, doing so how do you get back on after you've fallen off? That's a great question. Thank you for that. Get back to the basics. I think we try to make this hard on ourselves when we overcomplicate things. So the basics are get some kind of a fatty protein source. For me, I think red meat is a quality protein source to fish. Fish makes me hungry. I don't know about you guys, but when I eat fish, even fatty fish, I tend to get hungry pretty quick. Same with like leaner meats, like chicken breasts and that kind of thing. I get hungry. But when I consume red meat, I don't get hungry. So get red meat that has fat in it. So that's the basis of the meal. Then if you choose to have some vegetables, get some non-starchy vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, green beans, whatever your non-starchy vegetable of choice is. And then to that, add fat. So you could add some butter on top of the vegetables. You could put butter as the steak sauce on top of the steak and give that a go. I think that's a great way. And then just kind of get back to listening to your body's satiety signals. And if you eat enough food, you should be able to go many hours without eating again. And your goal is probably somewhere around 1 to 2 meals a day. And if you do that, you're going to feel satiated. You will definitely become keto adapted again, and it will get you right back on track. So thank you for that question. Let's see what we got next. Now, this was a funny one. Not that I'm going to commentate on it. Do you like daily nutrition tips and tips? DM me the answer if you're a woman. Do I look like a woman? Now, I know it was a spam. Do you guys get these spam, like whenever you post a question on Instagram? I get these spammers. They come out the woodwork. Do you still have any of your original chickens that you started with? I have one left from my original flock. She's 7 years old now. She's literally the only one back there. I have 20 backyard chickens, by the way. She's literally the only one of the original 6 that we got that's left. There was a cat that destroyed the one we called Snow White about 2 months ago. A cat just mauled her, and so she died. So the only one left is Squawky. So this is a Rhode Island Red, and she's squawky because she makes just a weird kind of unique squawk sound when she squawks. And so yes, one. And as far as I know, she's still laying at 7 years old. She's still laying us some eggs. So love that little lady. All the rest of them do not have names because when we got new chickens, we did not name the new ones. Has South Carolina eased up on the social distancing, or are you getting out more? Now, I love how she went more, M-O-O-R-E. They have, and it's so funny because I was out the other day running some errands, And the traffic out there is like it's Christmas time. Like, have you noticed that where you guys live, that it feels like the traffic is so heavy because people have been holed up for so long? Let me out of this house. I think some people are literally just driving around joyriding just because they can get out. Here in Spartanburg, South Carolina, they were stopping people. They would have roadblocks. And where are you going? Why are you out on the road? You know, before all of the things started being eased. But I'm not going out any more than I normally do. Pretty much, I'm just going to the store to get food, and I'm coming back. I think I went to the bank maybe once or twice, but there's really no other reason why I would be out. So, no, not really. Haven't really changed a whole lot. This is a simple one. It's an open-ended one. How are you? Yeah, people are asking about me, and I appreciate that. I think we all need to check up on each other from time to time in the midst of all this. I'm actually doing really good. I have some challenges just like everybody else. We're all going through stuff. But for the most part, I'm pretty good. You guys see me on camera every day. I do not hide. Like, if I was having a hard time, you would see me not on camera for days on end, and you'd wonder what's going on. So, no, I pretty much am doing really well. Just trying to take things in stride as best as I can. Yeah. Now, this was an interesting question. After being well fat adapted, why can it take so long to get back into ketosis after a cheat? Now, a lot of the researchers over the years said, well, if you have a cheat meal, it's okay because you'll get back into ketosis within 3 days. And that was always commonly believed. But then they started doing research of this. And what they found was people who are insulin sensitive, it took them more than 3 days. Insulin sensitive, meaning the most healthy people out there, it takes them somewhere from 7 to 10 days to get back into ketosis again. For people who are insulin resistant, you want to know how long it took for them to get back into ketosis after this cheat meal? 30 days. So if you want to extend the pain of having to try to get back into ketosis again, anywhere between 7 to 30 days, depending on your metabolic health, then go for it. This is why those people who say, well, I'll just cycle in carbs on the weekends, and during the week I'll stay keto, but on the weekends I'll cycle in carbs. It's kind of nonsensical because you can't fully get back into a keto adapted state that easily, that quickly. It's why staying in ketosis a little bit longer is probably smarter than not smarter. All right, great questions, guys. So let me go back up here. Is there any science supporting the different cooking methods of eggs and how they're digested differently? I eat eggs every day, but too many boiled eggs are no bueno. Yeah, boiled eggs do have a little bit of an issue because when you eat a lot of that white all in one bite, that's a concentrated form of some anti-nutrients. So there's a very specific anti-nutrient found in egg whites called avidin. Look it up. Avidin. And this is an anti-nutrient that, especially for women, can be harmful when you're still of childbearing age. So make sure if you're consuming eggs, you consume it where the egg white and the yolk are properly mixed. Now, I kind of like over easy eggs, or even sometimes country scrambled. So here in the South, if you crack the eggs into the pan and then let the whites get a little bit white and then start mixing it up, that's called country scrambled eggs. Or just straight up scrambled eggs can actually mix those together and prevent some of that effect. But people eating a big old bite of a boiled egg, hard-boiled egg, and you're getting mostly egg white, that can be a little bit tricky. So just be careful with that. Other than that, I'm not aware of any issues with the way that they are cooked. BB's like, when are we going to see more dancing videos? You're awesome. Thanks for all you do. Yeah, the other day I turned on Camila Cabello. And in fact, yesterday on my Jimmy Rants, I played My Oh My. YouTube pegged it and said, copyright violation, you cannot monetize this video. I'm like, okay, fine. Because I played 15 seconds of a copyrighted song. So, whatever. All the legality you have to jump through. Holly, no, we will not be doing videos again because we are currently separated and we ask for your privacy at this time. So, um, George says, Virginia is locked down until June the 10th. It's difficult to find beef in my area. Yeah, we're all having that issue. Go back and watch the beginning where I talked about the Prime Act, George, if you missed that part. Beth wants to know, when are you going to go on a hugging tour? I need a few hundred, please. Yeah, I so miss hugging people. Like, hugging is a part of my DNA. It's a part of who I am. You take away hugging from Jimmy Moore and it's like taking away breathing from somebody else, because most people know me at keto conferences as being the guy that gives a big old bear hug. So I still love hugging. And yeah, when all this is over and we're safe to go out again, blah, 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 I definitely want to go around and give some hugs. So if you go to one of the keto conferences, you come on the low carb cruise, you bet you're going to get some hugs from Jimmy Moore. All right, thank you, Instagram Live. Let me pop over to my Facebook page. We'll come to YouTube next, so get your questions ready, everybody. Hey guys, what's going on? This is an Ask Me Anything. Literally, whatever you want to ask about, fire away and we'll get to them. Holly wants to know, I eat bacon every day, twice a day. Is that okay? Why wouldn't it be okay? If you find enjoyment from that and it helps you stick to keto, then go for it. Do you have to? No, obviously. And personally, a lot of people are shocked when they find out I'm not really a big fan of bacon per se. I'll eat bacon. I like a bacon cheeseburger, patty and cheese and bacon, but I'm more of a pork sausage guy. I like sausage patties better than I do bacon. So there you go. You just learned something new about me. But yeah, I think you're probably fine if you want to have bacon like that. Nancy says, we're definitely seeing a reduction of meat in the stores here in Virginia. It also costs higher, reminds me of the beef shortages from the 1970s. Well, since I was a little bitty kid in the 1970s, I don't remember the meat shortages, but I'll take your word on it. I remember the political cartoons from the 70s where gas prices went really sky high, like $4 or $5 a gallon. A lot of political cartoons were kind of mocking, I guess, the Carter policy with there was a lot of stuff going on in the 70s, but I did not hear about meat shortages. Nancy says, incidentally, it was during the 1970 beef shortage that soy meat first began going into the mainstream. Yes, I'm old enough to remember that. Yeah, I was not born in 1970. I was born in 71, so just missed that. Abel says, sup, Jimmy? What's the world like a year from now? Oh, that's a definite Ask Me Anything question. 1 year from now. What a great question, Abel. I think we're going to still have abnormality. And it depends on whether cooler heads prevail in all of this discussion right now. Because right now we have a lot of hysteria. We have a lot of fear being promoted out there. And some of it, I believe, again, this is just me sharing what I'm thinking, some of it is by design. And I don't think it's an accident that this is a political election year, a presidential election year, that maybe some people are trying to use this politically for one candidate or the other. And it's unfortunate, but it is true. This is what happens. So a year from now, we're going to be beyond all that. Whoever the new president is, or whoever the president is a year from now, will already be in place, blah, blah, blah. So I think we're going to see a much different world a year from now. Now, will we still be social distancing? I don't know. I guess it depends on how the round 2, because they're talking about the COVID-19 coming back around at the end of this year into the next season of the flu. So I guess a lot of this just depends on what's going to happen with how people are handling the fear aspect. And more than anything, COVID-19 is extremely real, so don't get me wrong. But more than anything, I think this hyping up of the number of people getting it and the death totals and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully, I would hope by then, most of us have been tested for antibodies and we're kind of back to some semblance of normality. You know, I'm a big sports fan, so I'm hoping that sports is somewhat back to some semblance of, even if it had to be delayed. So like college football, NFL, if they have to delay it a little bit, a few months to get to that point where everybody feels safe enough to go back and do those things. I think we're still another 1.5 to 2 years away from any semblance of normality. Now, I think some things have permanently changed, Abel, that will never go back. That some of the reactions to this, they act like we've never been exposed to viral infections before, and we have. I get it, this one's a little bit unique and different, but it's no different than what we've had before being exposed to other viruses. But because this one was reacted to so strongly, people are going to have, are we going to go into stores and just kind of like be looking around our shoulders? Okay, that person looks like they're sick. Are we going to become neurotic? So it's going to be fascinating from a human interaction standpoint. When we get back to trying to be normal again, I don't think we're ever going to be totally normal again, because people are going to have this very indelible impression on their mind from 2020. Oh my God, like everybody was the enemy that could possibly cough on me and give me COVID-19. It's definitely an unprecedented thing in our history. So it's going to be fun to watch it. Fun is the bad word, but interesting to observe how people react to all this. But thank you for that Ask Me Anything question. And thank you, Facebook. Let's see what YouTube has to say. Whoa, look at all them questions. All right, Don says, I would like to know if there is no proof of vegetable oils being bad for our health. I would love to know if there is, if there is proof. I said there, I would love to know if there is no proof. Vegetable oils, AKA seed oils, these are like soybean oil, corn oil, pretty much all the processed foods are cooked in them, and it's promoted to us as a means for lowering cholesterol. It's promoted to us as heart healthy. In fact, the American Heart Association puts their little heart health symbol right on it. And the reason they think it's healthy for us is because it's no saturated fats. But they pretend like saturated fats are unhealthy. They are not. They also pretend like these oils are totally scot-free, and they are not. The biggest problem with vegetable oils, besides them being very man-made, go look up when you're done watching Jimmy Rants, right here on YouTube, how canola oil is made. This is one of the seed oils, one of the vegetable oils. It is so disgusting, and you'll be shocked by all the way they have to process that just to make it food edible for the human diet. It's gross. Newsflash, not healthy. But what's the main reason why they're not healthy? Two things. Highly full of omega-6 fatty acids, and we already, in our diet, we already have an overabundance of omega-6 fatty acids, somewhere upwards in the American diet of a 20-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. Ideally, you need to have that closer to about a 1-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. And so that's one reason why they're not good. Those omega-6 oils are way too high in our food supply. But the biggest thing is vegetable oils are highly inflammatory. So the whole purpose of you going on a ketogenic diet, for example, is to lower your inflammation as a means of making yourself healthier. You've cut your carbs obediently, you're having all these great things in your diet, but then you eat conventional mayonnaise, which has soybean oil in it, or then you cook your food in vegetable oil, that nice meat and vegetables, and you're putting vegetable oil, which, by the way, vegetable oil has no vegetables in it. None. It's very poorly named, but seed oils is what they are. Then you're going to be increasing your inflammation with the very diet that you hope is lowering inflammation. So bad news all around. You don't want to be spiking insulin or inflammation, or insulin, by the way. In fact, in my book, Cholesterol Clarity, I put the two twin villains in your health are carbohydrates and vegetable oils. Nurse Feelgood, I'm having my yearly labs done soon. As a generally healthy person with no conditions, what are the recommended labs that I can ask my doctor for? Great question. I think the basic ones that kind of get a general look at your health, obviously just the basic blood work, the panels, a complete blood count, CBC, and all of that. But specific ones, fasting insulin, a lot of doctors are not running fasting insulin anymore. I had to fire my local doctor here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I asked for it. Oh, well, you're not type 2 diabetic. Yeah, I'm trying to prevent becoming one, but I am insulin resistant. I was at the time. He's like, no, can't do it. I'm like, I'll pay out of pocket. Run the test. No, can't do it. I'm like, okay, well, you can't be my doctor anymore. And so I went and ran it on my own, and I run my own tests now, nelabtestnow.com and then privatemdlabs.com. Not every state allows that, but most of them do. So go check that out if you've got a specific test that a doctor won't run. But fasting insulin, obviously fasting blood glucose, you can do at home. I think an inflammation marker, there's several really good ones out there. HSCRP is the one you hear me talk about quite a bit. Very easy to run. IGF-1 is another key inflammation marker. Homocysteine is another one. So kind of run that number. I think maybe running leptin would be an interesting one as well, so you can kind of see where you are. Insulin and leptin don't always run along the same lines. Like I have lower insulin now, but my leptin is kind of on that intermediate level, and so I'm trying to do things to get that under control. A full thyroid panel with all the numbers, not just TSH, T3, and T4, but a full panel. I did a whole podcast about this on my show last year. It was called Keto Talk, but go to llvlc.com, look under the show Real Talk, and in there we did a whole functional medicine lab podcast where we went through all of these different labs that you should have run if you want to kind of assess where you are in your health. But great question. I definitely wish you luck in seeing how your numbers turn out. Kim Cole said, I got tested for the coronavirus, and the antibodies, negative for both. Now I'm hearing the antibody tests may not be accurate. So Kim Cole, they are accurate if you look for the ones that are 95% sensitivity. The problem is a lot of the ones being manufactured in a rushed form only have a 30% sensitivity. So when I went to get the antibodies test that I ran a couple of weeks ago, it was called COVID test. It ran for the 2 antibodies, and it had a 95% sensitivity. The manufacturing of these tests is what's kind of like throwing people for a loop. So all this rush to get tests done, they messed up the quality. But if you ask for the sensitivity and they say 95%, then you should be able to rely on that pretty well. Terry says, blood glucose and ketone question. I'm no carbs after I exercise. My blood glucose goes high till I eat. Yeah, that's normal. Terry, you have to understand the body's physiology. Your exercise releases glycogen stores. And of course, people are like, well, I thought I dumped all my glycogen stores when I went keto. You do dump a lot of them, but you have stored glucose in all your muscles throughout your body. Even in the best keto dieter, you still have some backup. It's basically a backup storage of glucose for those glucose dependent functions in the body, as well as when you exert energy in the form of exercise. So when you exercise, and especially when you do a very glycolytically demanding strength training exercise, you're releasing that sugar, that glycogen into your body. So if you prick your finger after a workout and you see a 147, holy crap, I haven't eaten anything at all. Why in the world? Well, it makes sense now, right? Because all that glycogen is floating around in your body because it's like, hey, this person needs a backup of energy. Yes, they're fat adapted, but let's give them a boost of jet fuel from this glycogen, and then it'll clear out of the body eventually when it realizes you're not moving anymore. So that's why it's higher after working out. A lot of people get confused by that. They don't understand why, but hopefully that explained it for you. Karen wants to know, what are your thoughts on the BMI? I lost 100 pounds. I still need to lose another 20 to be in the normal range. BMI frustrates me because BMI is an incomplete picture. Can it be used as a reference? Sure. But I don't like this kind of idea of using your height and then your body weight as a means for which what your ideal body weight should be. Michael Jordan, in the prime of his career as a basketball player, was considered obese according to BMI. Now, isn't that preposterous? Michael Jordan, the most popular athlete on the planet in the 80s and 90s, was obese. LeBron James today in the NBA, obese according to BMI. Why? Because they have all this really heavy muscle on their bodies that increases their body weight vis-a-vis their height, and they're considered obese. So I think it's a very archaic way of classifying where people are. A better one is the hip to waist ratio, hip to waist ratio. So look that one up online, go Google that one sometime, and it gives you a better indication of what your state of health is and your state of your body weight and whether it's healthful or not healthful. So thank you for that question. I think I saw something come over here. Yes, Robert had a question. How much fish oil do you take for your heart to be healthy? Great question, Robert. Thank you for that. Fish oil is definitely something that you can take. And most people, like I have taken liquid fish oil. Currently, I'm taking the ones from Primal Kitchen. They have a fish oil supplement. Cod liver oil tends to be a really good one. If you want to really kind of hype up your brain a bit, there is this thing called krill oil, Krill, and just follow the dosage on the packaging, because a lot of those, like I take 2 pills of the Primal Kitchen ones. When I've done the Carlson's fish oil, which is liquid, I'll do a tablespoon of that. I know some people, it depends on your need. If you're very deficient in omega-3s, take a little more. If you're pretty sufficient, you just want to keep those sufficiencies up, then take the recommended dosage on the bottle. But yeah, don't complicate it. I think the main point is get it in there. And if you want to substitute your fish oil by eating fish a couple times a week, that's probably not a bad idea either. So great question. Thank you for that. All right, let me pop back over here to my friends on Instagram Live, see if there's any final questions on this Ask Me Anything. Mary says Virginia is starting phase 1 of reopening on May 15th. Excellent. So Mary has a question. Do you think an 18-6 fast, which is 18 hours of fasting, 6 hours of eating window, is better than 1 meal a day or a longer fast right now with COVID-19? Well, with COVID-19, and if you're stressed about COVID-19, this is why I have not done any fasting challenges in the midst of this. People have stress, and stress is a very bad idea if you're trying to fast, because fasting in and of itself is a stressor as well. So if you come into a fast, which is a stressor, and you're already stressed because you're worried about some of the ramifications of what's going on with COVID-19, I'd say don't worry about fasting 18-6, OMAD, or longer, any of them. Now, if you're pretty chill and you're doing okay and you want to kind of implement it, just do the one that works best for you. If you feel good eating within a 6-hour window and you fast for 18 hours, do it. If you feel good eating 1 meal a day, do it. If you want to try some longer fast, do it. The main point here is listen to your body. There is no right or wrong when it comes to fasting. Beth says, I recall hearing something about diabetes, blood glucose goes down after exercise or the dawn effect, but don't recall why. Is that right? I don't recall. So blood glucose can go down in response to exercise if you get an excess insulin response. So people forget insulin does boost. That's how it starts to do the repair of the muscle when you exercise. And so some people might get that boost in the insulin, which would push their blood glucose down. I don't think it would be a permanent thing. I don't think it would be anything to be worried about. But certainly that's something that individuals would need to be aware of when they started this. I can tell you, when I first started lifting weights many years ago, I would work out because everybody's like, go in there fasted and it's going to be great. So I'd go into a workout fasted. I would lift some pretty heavy weights, and halfway through the workout, I would black out. Like I would have, like, my eyes would just glaze over black. What in the bloody you know what? And it turned out I was getting some reactive hypoglycemia to the heavy lifting. Now, over time, as I became more fat adapted and things started normalizing, it worked out great. I still have I have a mental memory of that bad experience of going into a workout fasted. So I feel a little bit kind of when I think about fasted working out. So I have a little something before I work out, and then I eat a full meal after the workout. So I guess it's just one of those individual things as well. Daniel says, if you want to lose weight, what kind of fasting do you recommend? I don't fast for weight loss. Fasting's purpose is not weight loss. It's very obvious if you want to lose weight and you don't eat for a period of time that you're going to lose weight. And people often kind of mock fasting. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, you lose weight when you're fasting for 7 days, but you gain it all back when No, you don't. So if you fast for 7 days, for example, you could lose somewhere between like 5 to 15 pounds in a 7-day fast of water and salt. After that's over, you will gain back a modicum of that, probably 75% of that weight loss. But if you lost 5 pounds and you gained back 75%, you still net lost 2 pounds. If you lost 10 pounds and you gained back 75%, you still lost about 2.5 to 3 pounds. You see how it works? And so it's not the actual weight loss in the midst of doing the fast, but rather the cumulative effects of fast, lose weight, gain back a little. Fast, lose weight, gain back a little. And over time, those little incremental losses add up because you will be fasting a lot. So I hope that helps you out. All right, I thought I saw another question come in on YouTube, and I see another one here on Facebook. Thank you guys, all these great questions today. Julia, how much vitamin D and what brand should I take? Hello from Chicago. Vitamin D doesn't need a brand. The main thing with vitamin D is you want a vitamin D3, that's key, and you want it to be a gel cap. And then in the gel cap, you want to know what the oil is that they use. So a lot of them have used soybean oil. You want to stay away from those. You could probably find ones that have coconut oil. I've seen those. You can also find one that has olive oil. I'm trying to think, what are the other oils? I think I've even seen like almond oil, avocado oil. So any of these like really healthy oils, those are okay. And then find the dosage that's right for you. So sometimes people will get the 1,000 IU, and that's fine if that's what you want to take. Just know that a lot of people need much higher doses. And don't worry about the RDA. It's woefully inept, the RDA. So don't worry about the brand. Try to get somewhere at minimum 5,000 IU. And sometimes they'll sell you a pill that's 5,000 in one little pill. I take about 10,000 on the norm in regular circumstances. With COVID-19, I have boosted my vitamin D, my vitamin D3 supplement up to about 25 to 30,000 IU just as an extra immuno booster. I will probably stay at that level for most of the time. I am backing off a little bit now that it's getting sunnier and I'm getting out in the sun. Sun also produces vitamin D through the skin synthesis, which, by the way, if you have low cholesterol, that skin synthesis translation into vitamin D does not happen. So this is another reason you want higher cholesterol, that when the sun hits the skin, you will produce vitamin D only when you have adequate amounts of cholesterol. Did you know that? That's a pretty cool little fact, right? Let's see what we have over here. When did you go carnivore last year? Terry says. I never thought I could do it, and now I'm in 9 months. So yeah, I started somewhere around February. No, it was January last year. So I'm right at about a year and a half being keto carnivore. So I always qualify keto carnivore because a lot of the carnivore people say, well, we don't worry about ketosis. We just eat meat. Okay, fine, if that's what you want to do. For me, having the ketosis with the meat-based diet, the mostly animal-based foods, is the key. So I get all the benefits of ketosis, plus I get all the benefits of eating animal-based foods, and then the psychological benefit of kind of staying off all the treats and things that tend to sabotage a lot of people that go keto. It's not a lot of kind of meat treats out there, so it kind of keeps you on the straight and narrow being carnivore. But yeah, a year and a half I've been carnivore, keto carnivore, and I love it. From a strength standpoint, I feel so much stronger. From an energy standpoint, from a mental clarity standpoint, awesome. The only thing it has not done is kind of really make my weight go down fast. And I'm okay with that. Like I've come to terms with the weight thing, that for me and other people, it's going to just be a little bit harder. It doesn't discourage me. People are like, oh, you should feel bad about having weight on the body. I'm like, okay, I could feel bad. What purpose does that serve? To me, feel good in the skin you are in while you're still working on yourself. Like, we live in this culture that tells us you should feel bad because you're fat. Okay, fine. And we're seeing this with this COVID-19 thing, by the way. This little side rant, I'm gonna go off a little bit. I'm gonna do a whole Jimmy rant on this probably soon. But I'm so sick of this idea, well, most of the people getting COVID-19 are obese, so therefore we need to publicly shame the obese people even more. If you notice that, have you been seeing these people out there that, obesity we know is the primary cause of COVID-19 symptoms being much worse, so therefore we need to make these people, we need to fat shame these people into health. That's disgusting to me, because fat people are already being discriminated against. And if this COVID-19 steps that up even more, oh my gosh, like, back off, people. I get it. We want to try to help people get healthier, but shaming people because they are fat without the context of why they are fat is incredibly disturbing to me. And a lot of people in leadership position in keto and carnivore are saying this nonsense that it's obese people that need to get their shiz together. Just stop it. Like, seriously. Like, this really irks me, because I've been morbidly obese, 410 pounds. And yes, I was eating a crap diet at the time. But there's a lot of people that they've been that way, and then they start eating keto, and metabolically, all their insulin resistance heals. Metabolically, they're pretty darn healthy, yet they still end up in this obese category. Are we supposed to blame those people? Is it the obesity, or is it the insulin resistance that's underlying? And yes, generally insulin resistance and obesity go hand in hand, but not always. So why put this added burden of obesity on everybody? It's the diabetics that are at risk. Exactly, Berkeley. See, this is the thing. I think they've misdirected their concerns and their anger. Do you use any apple cider vinegar, lemon salt during fasting? No, some of that just convolutes things. I do just plain salt and water. All right, guys, so we're running out of time here. Thank you so much for being here with this Ask Me Anything Jimmy Rants. We do this every Friday, by the way, at 11 a.m. Eastern. On Fridays, it's Ask Me Anything. So thank you so much for being here today on Jimmy Rants. As always, if you want to engage live in the content, go follow me. I'm over on Instagram. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, engage live. We go live at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. We sometimes throw in a 5 p.m. one during the week, and then on the weekends occasionally, usually on the weekends around 2 p.m. if we do one. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to jimmyrants.com. We have all the past episodes listed there. We're also over on YouTube, so go look up Jimmy Rants on YouTube and you will find the show. Thank you so much for such an engaging show here today. Really enjoy coming on camera, and I don't get to see your faces, but I feel all the comments and how positive a lot of you are. So thank you so much for all that you're doing, watching the show, being so faithful, and until next time, we'll see you then. All right. The official show is over, but we shall continue over here. I thought I saw something come in here on YouTube. You are the best. Well, thank you. I try to offer a fun show. Like, people give information all the time online. Like, I watch a lot of different people and how they present their information, always trying to hone my own craft. And when I watch some people, I kind of go, and you have an audience? Like, people watch that for an hour, really? It's just, I'm just like bored watching them. But I guess, again, different strokes for different folks. Some people don't like my silliness, or they just want the facts. And then there's other people that they love everything that I do, and they don't like those boring people. Have you ever thought of a Zoom meeting? A Zoom meeting with who, Berkeley? With fans of Jimmy Rants? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, we could do that. I'm not sure how that would work. I've watched some of those where you got like all these people on a Zoom call and it's just like everybody's talking over each other. Maybe. I was a part of a Zoom Q&A session with that Fat Fiction movie that came out recently. And so I was one of the experts on the panel. And so all the participants were able to see us. I guess their pictures were muted, but you could see us. So all of us were on screen together, but then they asked us to mute ourselves when we weren't talking. So that might work. It's kind of a cool idea. Maybe do that as a bonus for the people that are my Patreons, which I haven't really pushed the Patreon page too much. But if you go to jimmyrants.com, there is a link there if you want to support what we do here on Jimmy Rants. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. This was a lot of fun. Great questions you had for me. So we'll pop off of here now on Facebook. Until next time, we'll see you then. We are out on Facebook. All right, so let me make sure it posted. There we go, posted good. Thank you, YouTube Live. Hope you have enjoyed being able to hang out with me in this live format. We're still putting up all the past episodes. What we do is we take the feed from over on Instagram Live and we put that up as the archived form over on the Jimmy Rants YouTube page. So still go to youtube.com/Living Low Carb Man. All the past episodes are there, but this is also listed there. If you go under my videos on YouTube, you can see this live feed, which sometimes what we do is we do other stuff. Like I'm staying here afterwards, after I'm done with the show, I'm still talking to you. So sometimes we do extras here on these lives. So thank you guys for being here. This is a lot of fun. Are you enjoying this? I hope so, because I am certainly enjoying it. So let me pop off of here for now. Thank you so much, you guys. We'll see you guys again real soon. Bye.